Hello and welcome. I am the Restless Kaiser.
And I'm Johnny B. Together,
I am a wizard, mind you. So today's main feature is going to be about wizards, which is why Johnny B dressed up today, obviously.
with my wizard beard and my wizard hair.
It's wizarding. So there might be occasional buzz during the show.
Possibly.
Just to keep it lively. We're going to start off with a little bit of industry news, some channel news, then we'll work on the main feature, and there'll be hijinks and nonsense throughout.
Yeah, lots of nonsense.
We're still observing social distance because he's ginger and I don't want to catch it.
Fact, and he's moany.
And sometimes, if you're new here, we might be looking like we're looking in an odd place because opposite ends of a room at funny angles.
Fact.
So with a bit of industry news then, John, stuff been going on in the Games Workshop land. You love a bit of GW,
Workshop,
don't you?
yeah. I mean, these guys have
they're like
already
other people's
heard it.
miniatures, but more expensive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. More,
And you love
much
that.
more expensive, and I love paying a premium. I
premium?
sometimes just take pictures of the boxes that I've bought and post them on social media
people
just to
love
make
that,
sure
don't they?
that people know that I've spent money on this stuff.
Spent money on that, yeah.
Anyways,
What's new?
What have they bought out? I mean, most of this stuff is readily available if you go and click on the Games Workshop website,
Yeah.
funnily enough.
Yeah.
But things that interest me
Yes.
are, have you seen the Cow Lords?
The
For
cow
iOS,
elves?
Cow Lords of Elfness.
So they're like
They're called the
mountains and
Lumineth-
cows and they're elves.
Lumineth What's-It Lords, based on cows. They're essentially high elves, but with a
cow
high
theme.
fantasy cow theme.
They've got they're
of
weird.
The mountain.
They're not big corn head elves. They're big moo head elves.
Some of these miniatures are proper nice, including
odd.
one of them. They are a bit odd, aesthetically, some of them, but still. Key elements, Teclis with his crazy cat thing. I don't know if you've seen that. He's a wizard, mind you. Funny that.
Wizards.
Almost links in. But it's £105 up on
105
pre-order.
Earth pounds.
And it's a dude with a big fat cat. Gorgeous model.
You mean like He-Man?
Sort of, but like weedy, like me.
But more
like
cow-like.
like if I played He-Man.
Mate, you did play. You were He-Man before he transformed, right?
By eating a banana. I'm sure that's something else.
That's a different show.
So there's
mate.
that, you've got Lumineth Realm Lords. They've also brought out some funky dice with them, which are cool because they look like little prayer wheels if you turn them on the side.
Do they?
Mate, they're ridiculous.
Like a prayer wheel.
They
prayer wheel.
are barrel designed to look like a barrel. They're really weird.
Interesting.
Have
Do you
you
know-
seen them?
No, but prayer wheels I find really interesting, actually. Do you know?
I would like some.
Well, we've all seen that iconic moment.
Yeah.
See? No, but the idea with the prayer wheels, it's like the ultimate laziness. The prayer wheels have got the prayers written on them, so when you spin them, you're saying all of those prayers.
Mate,
That's how that works.
that's a
That's legit, right?
fast food of praying to your gods.
Absolutely, yeah.
I never realised
No,
that.
I never knew that. I was just sat in an RE lesson at work one day, and it was just like, that is
one.
really cool.
Revolving menu
Why
of
did
prayer.
Christians never adopt that? You write all the prayers down, all the basic stuff. You know,
Spin the
mom,
doofer,
dad,
pick
world
one.
peace, whiz, off they go. Boom.
Oh my god. So you got that. That's the Lumineth Realm Lords. I'm not
Yeah.
really into iOS, but some of the models are cool. And you get funky dice, which I'll likely buy just to be awkward
Yeah.
and use them in all the different games. Other things. Snotlings came out finally. They were previewed ages
You
ago
mean
for
Snotlings for Blood Bowl.
Importantly for Blood Bowl. They are
Snotlings,
ridiculous.
okay.
You don't play the game, I play the game, and I love playing ridiculous teams that
They
are
must be
hopeless
rubbish,
on the
though.
pitch. Yeah, but it compounds how rubbish I am in Blood Bowl, but makes it fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because it's
Is it one of them
pathetic.
teams that you really like to play with? You can't possibly win, but you can make it really annoying for your opponent.
You measure how well you've done in the game by how little you've conceded in score. It's like, I win because I only let 4 go in, mate.
Right.
All right, opposed to 7 from the last game.
I'm sure some of you will enjoy a bit of Blood
I
Bowl.
love Blood Bowl. That's cool. It's nice to see that the releases that they've previewed over the lockdown are starting to come to fruition.
Yeah,
now
and I think
get
that's
into-
what we're seeing with a lot of them. And actually, for those of now we've got through the lockdown, a lot of these model companies have got some pretty rapido release schedules.
yeah,
Because now
for
they're
sure.
like, it's all up and running and motoring
proper
again.
good.
It's all just boom.
And I like that.
Booming out, yeah. I mean, like Flames of War, which we're covering. We're going to struggle to keep up with the unboxings for the,
Yeah, I think we are.
the big boxes.
bits that are coming out.
The bits
It's
that are coming
mental.
out. Yeah.
War Games Illustrated's back. That's cool. As
War
of
Games Illustrated is back.
As of September.
Yeah, they're
was
on the
first one.
second issue now, I think.
They're cool.
Yeah, I
I
haven't
rarely
just
buy
read
it, but that's one that you're into, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I love
Anyway, last random piece of news before we go in, because we're 7 minutes into talking about Games Workshop, is Ripper Jackson, which is a Catachan sergeant.
It's Vasquez from the Aliens.
Vasquez from Aliens, essentially.
The angry one with the bandana.
Now, they're keying it up that it's going to be available for everyone to purchase if you go to one of their stores. Much like the Catachan Colonel, I believe, though.
Is this one per store?
I'm not sure. They've geared it up like you can go and get it, and if you can't make it down to a store, you can order it online anyways. So we'll see where that goes.
Take a moment to talk about this. Catachan characters, given the small number of these kind of unique special releases that they do,
yes,
they're for like special game shows or tournaments or store openings. In the few years since I've been back in 40k, there's been a couple of Space Marine ones every year, but there's been at least 3 Catachan models.
All of a sudden.
Well, not all of a sudden, because they did Slime Arbo a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the little resin one.
And then they did Mac.
Dylan!
Is it Dylan?
What's the matter, Dylan? Say, God, you're pushing too many pencils. Dylan.
Yeah.
And now Vasquez from
And now Vasquez. It's like...
Are they gearing up for something?
Well, I'm wondering whether they're gearing up or whether they're not. Whether that's like reinforcing that the Catachans is quite a specialist and niche thing.
I don't know if they think that far ahead. I think they just design miniatures.
Because if these models are not going on full release, but they are planning to refresh that range, like, well, these were clearly some character models that you've designed and are not going to be available in the range release. Mate, I wonder whether it's a nail in the coffin.
Possibly.
You know, as in them being a niche army.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Well, that was a really long segment of random GW-ness. Have you got any news, Kaiser?
Have I got any news in terms of that? Well, we talked a little bit about, we've done our Team Yankee. A game that we are starting to look at is called Mortal Gods, which is Greek mythology. It's Greek Mercenary Hoplites, the basic game, but they've just released their mythology Kickstarter.
Right.
It's like literally shipped last week, I think.
Okay.
We got in touch with them. They're going to send us some stuff to have a look at. And we're going to have a go at that.
Happy
So like
days.
naked, oily Greek men fighting.
Mate, that's my sort of thing.
And there's now an expansion so we can fight hydras and 3-headed dogs and stuff like that.
Weird.
So we're going to have a look at it. A look at that. There'll be some stuff quite soon.
Cool.
But yeah, I think like a lot of things, it's just like now we're emerging more fully out of the lockdown. Everything is
getting
happening.
flooded with all this awesomeness.
Yeah. And in terms of other things for the channel, we have just finished the last of the 6 basic missions for Bolt Action.
We have indeed,
We just recorded that this week, so you'll see that in a few weeks' time when it's been edited and stuff. So with that, you're going to start seeing a couple new armies and a new player entering the arena, hopefully.
Quite exciting.
Mr. James Workshop. But we're going to play some of the rookie missions and things, unbox some of the starter sets. You and I have had a look at one of them already, haven't we? Which again, you'll see quite soon.
For sure.
So, we're always looking to sort of develop and move on. For those of you that noticed, other channel news, Johnny B is sporting a beautiful piece of merch.
Look.
Modelling for advantage.co.uk. There are other options, and you're probably better looking than him, so it will
Fact, make it look proper good.
So, Wizards, mate. Wizards. I love high fantasy, or Lord of the... That's what really motivated me to start looking into gaming in general, was a bit of sword and sorcery, HeroQuest, Gandalf, right?
You shall not pass!
Powers from outside of the normal kind of universe.
Yes.
I liked all of that. Not just the abracadabra and then or pulling a pigeon out of your bomb hole or
you see, I'm mixed.
stuff.
I like a bit of that, but I'm very much in the sort of the Conan wizards.
The wizards are the evil ones.
The evil ones, and even Little Mako.
The evil one.
And he's just like, you can't see it. There's no spell effects. You can see what they're doing.
You like your magic to look like it involves a lot of physical effort.
It's happening in a different realm as well that you can't see. I like that.
In Big Trouble in Little China, they had that. Didn't they?
That's but I love that film.
You like me? 6 Demon Bag.
Man, that's good. Anyway, Wizards.
Yeah. Wizards, I think they hold a really special place for a lot of gamers. Often games struggle to balance Wizards. You want Wizards to be cool, but if Wizards are cool, they go, and then everything dies, or the floor opens up.
Some game systems in the past have certainly done that.
Yeah. It's like, how do you balance that? And there are some issues around the balancing of wizards and making them feel wizardy. We've had submissions from our various contributors. We're going to have a look at the board game stuff first.
Cool.
And I think we'll get to it, John. Don't you worry, mate. We'll get to it. Up first, we've got Catastrophia talking to us about one of her favourite board games.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Sophia, your resident board gamer at Modelling for Advantage, and this time we'll be talking about an appropriately wizardly game, Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. Hogwarts Battle was released back in 2016 and has since received 2 expansions, but today I'm just going to be talking about the base game. I've got 2 pals to join me so we can play as the famous trio Harry, Ron and Hermione. I actually think that's one of the strongest parts of the game, playing as these beloved characters and putting yourself inside these stories that you know so well. I really enjoy playing this game, and the design of the elements is really pleasing, especially the villain control tokens, which are this like satisfying cast metal. It's really, really fun. The cards take the art directly from the films, which is a smart choice in my opinion, because after all, the nostalgia this game evokes is probably one of the reasons why it's so fun to bring to the table. We played game 1, so we fought against some of the first movie villains, including Professor Quirrell and Draco Malfoy. We did win the game in the end, but it was way more challenging than I thought it would be. In terms of gameplay, it's very similar to Marvel Legendary. You're building a deck full of allies, spells and treasure in order to hit the villains in different locations within the magical world, but that's where the comparison stops. Licensed games can sometimes have a bad reputation for copying pre-existing mechanics and titles, but Hogwarts Battle goes a step further to make it an interesting and challenging deck building game in its own right. If you're a Harry Potter fan who's never played board games, or a board gamer who likes a challenging deck builder, or both, I suggest picking up this game and seeing if you have what it takes to survive the Hogwarts battle. So I'm Sophia, and I'll see you next time for a look at another board game on Modelling for Advantage.
Mate, Harry Potter. Have you played that? I haven't played
I've not played that. In fact, I've barely followed Harry Potter, but it's such a...
I'm not even sure whether there's just one game or whether there's lots. I mean, if you had to... Obviously, you'd have to be Ron.
Of course.
If you played that game.
And you'd have to be Dobby.
Dobby? Dobby?
Yes, mate.
That'd be Dumbledore, innit?
I wish. Hagrid, maybe. But that looks cool.
They're not even wizards.
I don't know the mechanics of that game there, but it looks quite interesting.
They look like they're enjoying themselves. I mean, there's a lot in Harry Potter, isn't there? There's a lot of popularity.
And a lot of people hold it very dear.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think
if you're in it, you're in it.
There's a tangibility, isn't there? There's the kind of, it's at school, it's in the real world.
Yeah, true.
You know, you can, they've done, it's a nice piece of, in terms of literary writing, you'd call it magic realism. And it's, although it's got all of those like magic things that you might recognise, it's fundamentally about the real world that's a bit different.
Yeah, it's got the
and it's looking at those bits that are different.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That was
Catastrophia.
Catastrophia.
That one.
Yeah, absolutely. So sticking on the board game then theme, what are you got your fingering over there?
Should we
mate?
show them the thing first?
Show them the thing.
Do you want to show them the thing first, or shall I just
We'll roll the film.
roll it.
Hello MFAs, it's me, Johnny B, and this week we're talking about wizards. Now, assuming you've got HeroQuest, you've completed the main, you've done Keller's Keep, you've taken the Lich Lord out, you've suppressed the Ogre Horde, but have you ever played the Wizards of Morcar? Let's have a look. Boop! So this is the Wizards of Morcar expansion. You get the 4 Lieutenant Wizards, Steve, Fred, Barry, and the Spleen Ripper. These are the 4 lieutenants that you've got to beat up through the course of the quest book. But you get some help. You get these men-at-arms. There's 12 included. They come with various weapons that are plug-and-play options. You can hire them and spend a bit of gold at the end to keep them on your roster. Yet to play this, yet to paint this. I'm going to be optimistic and say end of November 2037 I'll have these done. Maybe, just maybe, you'll see them on the tabletop. No promises though. Let's go. I have to thank Simon and Nick Pedley for the acquisition of such a fine gem. That's it for Wizards from me. Back to you, Kaiser.
Mate, this is like you don't want to know how much this guy has sold more than one kidney to fund his attempt to collect HeroQuest.
And I don't even know I don't know why, but it's become my life goal.
About it today. He's talking about buying some leather-bound foolishness.
I've joined a Facebook group. It's called HeroQuest, like Fanatics or something.
Where
there's a dude-
people
there's
with
a
old
dude-
tatty booklets sell them to idiots.
No. This dude's like binding them. Admittedly, the source that he's getting this information from and then binding them into a book is readily available for me on the tinterwebs, so I could, if I wanted to, print it myself. But I don't know how to bind a book.
Is that seriously true?
Seriously, yeah, that's it. He's going to compile all of the English and American rules for HeroQuest.
Right.
All the missions, all the White Dwarf missions,
Right.
all the bits and bobs, even down to the dungeon design. Put it in a bound faux leather book.
Look at
A5.
the guy's
I'm
excitement.
so excited, and it's
These
only
are
going to
all
cost.
things he already owns.
Yeah, but I can put the real ones and like put them in a little vacuum seal bag and keep them on
Oh,
free.
yeah, keep them special.
But yeah, I love
It's a matter of collecting.
HeroQuest.
So this, because we're talking about wizards, you just took the opportunity to talk about
It's
HeroQuest.
Wizards of Morcar. It says
You
Wizards
love
in it.
So tell me about the 4 wizards in, not the 4 idiots. Just toss them to one side, mate.
I didn't bring the booklet, but yeah, the
Did they
whole
not have
thing
names?
about this.
Or
Of
is it
course they do have names, but in the video you'll notice I call them Bob, Steve, Dave, and because I can't remember them.
Right.
They do have names, and these 4 are specific lieutenants of Morcar, which is
they're
the evil
baddies.
wizard. These are the bad guys, mate.
Oh, you mean
And
you
you
can't
gotta
play the
defeat them.
Orc Wizard?
Nope.
Is there a Skaven one?
Nope.
Mate, this set sucks.
But you do that.
You can't play the Orc. There isn't a Skaven
Proper
one.
upscale though. This is like the 4th set they did.
Yeah.
Expansion, and if you go into it from the start, you're going to die because it's like it's like on extra hard level if you go
Extra
in
hard.
with a level 1 character.
HeroQuest.
I love me some HeroQuest.
Have you actually played in HeroQuest?
I have played HeroQuest, yeah.
Because you've nearly finished the basic set now.
Base set. I've just got the Chaos Sorcerer and the Gargoyle to paint, and then it's all painted.
So for those that can't remember that far back, because I was a child. when I
It
played
was some time ago.
How does the wizard work in HeroQuest?
The wizard, you
Does he have
get
a free range attack?
4 spell cards.
4 spell cards, mate.
And well, you get 3 sets of the 4 spell cards, and you can play them once during the course of a quest, and then they're gone. And the elf gets 1 of the sets of 4, but it's really weird. It doesn't matter. You guys know about this because you all love HeroQuest, right?
So speaking of Orc Wizards, this is literally just come off the base, and this is a bit of a thing with metal miniatures, and sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to need to pin it. I have been working on Orc Wizard here, and some other, gone real old school with these orcs, mate, because we are thinking about playing a bit of Frostgrave in it, John.
We think about a lot of stuff, guys. Oh, mate, he's still having a
I already had one. Sheared off the
Frostgrave
base.
is a thing. It's really funny. We started thinking about this as I own the current Frostgrave book.
Yeah.
But in conversations
out-
about it, it's
Turns
like
out-
literally 2nd edition was released in us talking about
What,
it.
in the
so-
duration we've been talking about it, and we don't even know whether it's a game we're going to. But we do have snow mats.
We do have snowmats.
We do
and we
like
have
wizards,
snow.
and we have loads of snow.
So it's a possibility.
Whether you guys will
Give
ever
us-
see it.
Poke one of those over so I can just get him on the camera there.
What, the one that
this
just
is the
snapped off the base?
No, ignore him.
The orc?
That's a shame.
It was so depending these. We've gone off topic a bit because it's my Frostgrave warband. These proper old school. I went with these, like mixing some yellow in with the green. These are black tree
Proper
ones, not
bright.
fantasy. But I like it was painting a nice big model. You know, and painting a D&D miniature in a lot of type. You know, a lone single fantasy figure.
Well, that's where
in a
most
long
of this
time.
part of your collection is from, right?
Yeah,
Like
this
we went
is
through a
all
whole
from,
box, and you're like, "This is D&D creatures that you use."
from
Aeons ago.
From eons
Yeah.
ago, yeah. Yeah, I mean this is current Black Tree, but I think I'd taken this stuff down to school to like teach kids
Yeah.
various games, and a lot of these, like I pulled all the wizards out, and they're all
at
scratched
that.
up to heck. They're all beat up.
But I
Yeah.
love that about some of these games. They're agnostic, as it were, miniatures that you can use, as long as it
Yes.
represents a wizard. And you can
Yeah.
use so much, because there's some
Yeah.
gorgeous models out there
Yeah.
for models and whatnot.
The sticking point is the consistency between.
Yeah.
One of the problems I have with D&D, if you got like old Grenadier and Ralpatha
Versus-
humans are elves, and then you got a modern Games Workshop one,
It's
like that is a
radically
very
different.
small and
Yeah.
very thin man, or whatever.
Hey, what you say?
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's Kaiser and John versus Johnny Payne. Some of like fat dwarves and some of like skinny elves, and they're all supposed to be men. You know, which is a real shame. But sticking with the fantasy theme, then, Mr. James Workshop has also been working on, because we, as well as Frostgrave, another longer term project that I've got, which I'm mostly ready for with my dwarves, is a bit of Kings of War.
Kings of War.
And as a palette cleanser, James Workshop's been working on one too. Ooh. Check this.
Ooh. Hello everybody, for this week's video on Wizards, very minimalist video from me here. I'm going to have a look at this Ogre Warlock from Kings of War. Let's put it together and put a little bit of paint on it.
So this is the Ogre Warlock from Kings of War. It's a metal model. I haven't put any metal models together for a little while now. Oh, wait a second, it's coming up to my favourite bit. What a fantastic noise. Yeah, so I've been given a bit of a cheeky side-eye to bolt action recently, so I'm going to have to get a bit of experience putting together metal models. I can't say I've had particularly good experiences with it in the past, but I actually quite enjoyed putting this one together. I think I've just got a bit more patience than I used to. Let me know what your opinions are down in the comments about metal models, because I'm going to be putting quite a lot of them together soon. As for Kings of War, where this model comes from, I've had that Kings of War army sat around for a little while, but because of the hard plastics and the amount of filling that has to be done, I've not been particularly looking forward to putting it together. So that is a model in its finery, pinned for it is metal, and with super glue from Gorilla Gel. Let's give it a quick spray paint with some Mechanica Standard Grey on the trusty broken chair in the back garden, and get some paint straight on it.
So here we are, 90 minutes of super speed painting later. I could have done a bit better, but, you know, I thought I'd just get it done. I quite like the model. It was very pleasant to paint. It's metal, so obviously I've had to seal it as well. For those of you with questions, yes, I am colourblind, but I did intend that quite sickly green colour. And I did intend for it to be very uncomfortable, fleshy tones for the rest of the model. So there you go. One wizard. Ogre Wizard.
Mate, talking about figure scales, I've got a dwarf army for Kings of War. He's built. Them ogres are going to look massive next to my guy.
It's green, mate. It's an orc. I'm sure it's an orc. It's green.
It's green. James is actually colourblind. I think he mentioned.
Is he actually?
He's legit colourblind.
James, you painted it as an orc. Just saying.
I mean, he says it's the look that he's going for, but whether that's the look that anyone else sees is a different thing. So that's had a bit of a look at the fantasy thing. So moving on, I mean, it wouldn't be a modelling for Advantage update type episode if there wasn't some 40k in there.
Fact.
We put the stuff out to the guys to contribute how they wish. So here's Clueless Mike doing his best to not do 40k whilst talking about 40k. Oh. Check this.
Hi there, Clueless Mike here. So today's topic is wizards. So I thought, what could I talk about? I could talk about some great literary wizards, kind of like Gandalf, Merlin, Harry Potter. I could talk about the proclivity of my wife to like me dressing up in Harry Potter cosplay at weekends, but I shouldn't talk about that. So let's talk about some 40k instead. So I'm going to talk about my favourite 40k wizard, Mephiston. Here you can see him in all his mighty glory. Oh, no, hold on. Something's wrong there. That's a bit weird. Just a moment. Oh. Ah. Engorgio! Ah, that's better. There he is in all his mighty glory. Mephiston, the Lord of Death, the chief librarian of the Blood Angels chapter. I've used him for many years in many guises through all the different rule sets. He's always been an absolute beast. He got trapped under a building after falling to the Black Rage. Under this building, he overcame the Black Rage, erupted out of the rubble, killed all his enemies, and has since then gone on to rule many a tabletop. He is an utter death machine, one of my favourite new models, and has just always been brilliant, always loved him. Other 40k psychers that I really like, Fate Weaver is probably my second favourite, two-headed Lord of Change, a really cool monster, and has always been utterly masterful in the psychic phase of 40k. While we're on the topic of wizards, I'm going to show you a book. Not often I do this, but this is one of my favourite book series. This is the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. It's an urban noir detective story involving wizards, vampires, werewolves, all kind of stuff. But it's got a massive, there's been, I think, maybe 17 books now, but it's a massive interconnecting storyline that kind of like grows bigger and bigger as it goes on. If you like that kind of thing, check it out. Thanks for watching.
How did he do that?
Did you see the magic, mate? Did you see the magic?
He made a little Mephiston into a big Mephiston.
Yeah, I hope that came across because he painted both of those models in the same colours, and on the camera did it really. I know it was old Mephiston and new. If you didn't know, that's why he switched.
It's just like,
but a new
Mephiston.
one.
Oh, look, here's the same Mephiston.
Yeah, it's not the same Mephiston.
He's a
bigger one.
beast. You fought against his new
I've slain
Primaris.
his new Mephiston.
Oh, you've killed it dead.
Mate, first outing, or at least first outing here, Mephiston. He just used it as a bullet magnet. I was like, Mephiston goes that way, the rest of the army goes that way.
Oh.
Mephiston dies, Michael wins.
Fair enough.
That's how it works, right? Mephiston, great wizard. So that's...
It's a wizard.
As someone who is, for a career, a librarian, it's always a bit of an issue for me when looking at space.
Hence why you're wearing your work clothes.
Hence why I'm wearing my work clothes, yeah. And then have the books and things. But it's like, librarians, we don't all have force axes. And it certainly didn't teach me any magic.
No.
But I spent a fortune on my MA, mate. I should have been given Terminator armour
and a couple of scrolls with the wizarding devices on it.
Wizarding and I've looked at all these dusty old books in archives. There's no magic in there, mate.
It's got the
do you know what there is in there? Probably the Black Death or something.
I heard some of the back pages of the Mr. Men books have got incantations in them. You should check that out.
Mate, that's entirely possible. I didn't read them all. I wasn't an advanced reader like you, sir.
Mate, I could lend them to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a new friend of the channel is hoping to put something of a regular or semi-regular feature in there. Is Harry from Fog of War.
I'm getting into his channel.
Yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again, is I don't review individual tank kits anymore because Harry just does a better job of it.
Yeah.
And here he is with his take on magic.
Hi, I'm Harry from Fog of War, and I make videos about tanks. Today's theme is wizards, and I thought it would be interesting to take a look at tanks powered by derivatives of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. The mighty Merlin engine powered the iconic British fighter of the Second World War, the Spitfire. Okay, so that's planes, but what about tanks? This is an A27M Cromwell, and it's one of the first really effective British tank designs of the war. British tanks were chronically underpowered, and earlier engines were often unreliable as well. To address this, a version of the Merlin for tank use called the Meteor was developed. Interestingly, the first Meteor tank engines were built from Merlin engine parts salvaged from crashed aircraft. The Cromwell is a cruiser tank, meaning it emphasised speed over armour and firepower. The 27-litre V12 Meteor shoved the 28-tonne Cromwell along at up to 40 miles an hour. It also powered the Challenger, a stretched Cromwell mounting a 17-pounder gun. The Challenger was a bit clunky and underpowered, but the 17-pounder gave enough punch to have a chance against German tanks. While the Challenger was a stopgap, the late-war Comet was a more refined design. Comet used a modified 17-pounder in a larger turret, but the shape of this tank still really shows its cruiser tank lineage. Even after the war, the Meteor was the power pack for the Centurion, Britain's workhorse tank of the 50s and 60s. This is my 15mm resonant metal Centurion for Australian forces in Battlefront's Vietnam game, NAM. So that's the magic of the Merlin engine in British tanks. Back to you, Kaiser.
Mate, the Merlin engine, what do you reckon?
I didn't realise it got into so many vehicles of so many different types.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a plane engine, that's all I knew.
Yeah, American planes, British tanks, even after the war, putting them in.
Still good.
Love it.
Wow,
so,
awesome.
Going back to my notes, just to try and stay on track. It's usually about this point in the show we recommend a YouTuber to you.
Who have you got?
Who have we got? I have the privilege of introducing you to JamstrapTV, who was actually one of our competition winners.
Sounds like a winner.
Yeah, mate, he's been doing some good stuff with the Indomitor set.
Nice.
It's not really wizardy, but these things are actually quite difficult to fit within the theme.
Yeah.
Because of the long lead times. So here he is, JamstrapTV. Tell him what you're all about, mate.
Take a look.
Hey guys, JamstrapTV here. And before I start rambling on about my channel, I'd just like to give a massive thanks to Wrestlers Kaiser and all of the Modeling for Advantage guys Really appreciate the little spotlight you guys are giving me right now. So to give you guys a quick brief rundown of what Jamstrap TV is all about, I've always kind of thought of it as kind of a hobby journal. It's a place where I share what I've been up to in my hobby, and I encourage all my viewers to kind of jump in and join in on the conversation. So that means commenting or joining my Discord channel, sharing pictures, helping each other out, all that kind of stuff. But what does that translate to in actual videos? Well, every single week I do a hobby roundup episode where I talk about what I've been up to in the hobby, and I showcase all my viewers' stuff in Discord as well. We just talk about what we've been up to. But also every week I try to get at least one video out of a kit bashing tutorial or a painting guide, something along those lines, maybe talking about different factions in 40k, Age of Sigmar, and occasionally the odd unboxing and stuff like that. Really, I'm just a massive hobby butterfly, and my channel is kind of an outlet for that, so I just kind of do a bit of everything. So if you fancy a place where you can just join a good community talking about painting, kit bashing, just starting a nice hobby conversation, you can find some cool, interesting tips and guides and stuff like that, then maybe Jamstrap TV is for you. But once again, thank you very much to Restless Kaiser and everybody that's part of Modeling for Advantage. But until next time, guys, bye-bye.
Mate, that was Jamstrap TV. I like the kit bash stuff that he does.
Liking the work.
He'd been doing some stuff with green stuff beards and
Whoa,
stuff.
I like green stuff beards.
Green stuff in your beard, probably while you're modelling.
Still loads of bits.
So that's about all we got time for this week. You know, we're still in these funny times, John, observing social distance.
It's a bit funny, mate.
Washing our hands, of course. So stay home where you can. Stay safe and take care of each other. And before I say thank you for watching, we're going to leave you with a little bit of hobby advice from
This
Mr.
isn't just hobby advice, sir.
This is
a life tip.
This is a whole of life tip. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Okay, got an important hobby tip for you all out there. So you take your pot of paint and you shake it. And you just keep shaking. Just shake, 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 shake. Just don't stop. Keep shaking it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. And it's probably ready now. Always shake your hands.
If you like the kind of stuff that we do, rather than just waiting for the blooper reel, why don't you head on over to our website, modelingforadvantage.co.uk. We've got affiliate links to places like Whaling Games there, where when you buy your models, if you buy it through our link, we get a little bit of kickback and it doesn't cost you a penny more.
Bonus feature, guys, I've modelled us as wizards. This is me, full of wisdom in my latter years, obviously, and yeah, that's the Kaiser. Yep, right there.
Yeah, I think he's come back. Alright, you ready?
Yeah.
Engorgio! Mate, tell you what, I feel a bit Engorgio.
Any luck? Well, it didn't work.
It didn't work. Didn't work. It's a cold day, mate.
Mate!
We're not doing that. I can go at the end. I can go at the end. Mate, it's a bad joke. Yeah. But it's funny at the end.
It's funny.
Yeah, alright.